welcome to another episode of the Amateur StarCraft League. I'm your host as always, the Reaper. Don't fear me, or you can, really. It doesn't matter. It's just my little sign on, and you guys just love it. So, nothing that I'm saying right now really matters. Isn't that neat, guys? All right, cool. So, here we have game number 3 between Syff and Protoss in the Amateur StarCraft League Invitational, round number 1. And in the first round, we saw Protoss able to be very, very aggressive, using a lot of zealots, some nice pylon placement, stuff like that. In round number 2, Syff came out and was also extremely aggressive, and a nice Zergling rush managed to defeat Protoss. So right now it's 1-1. This is the game breaker here. We see Protoss once again doing his standard pylon into a scout. And when he comes up here, right now, he's not going to see anything. He doesn't see a spawning pool coming down. He doesn't see anything coming down right now. Syff's sitting at 10, so he goes for a 10 pool. So he is going some kind of aggressive build. Protoss is going to scout this out perfectly here. And I'd imagine that in response, we should be seeing a gateway coming down here soon. Maybe even 2. There's 1. And up here, this probe dancing around. Some drones going to try to dissuade it here. Spawning pool's about halfway finished. There's Protoss's gateway, and the harvester count right now is of course in Protoss's favor. Once again, Protoss's name is just for win. I mean, I don't think that you can view it any other way than he's just for win. His name is for win. We've got an extractor here coming down around 15, it looked like. I don't know. I fail at casting sometimes, guys. You just have to roll with it. So, we see a queen coming out now. And is that a second gateway? No, that's still the same gateway. An assimilator just now getting saturated there. Another pylon coming down. This drone down here going to come around, scout around, make sure nothing's being hidden. This might be a proxy later. We could see maybe an Evo chamber, something like that. That's becoming more and more a popular tactic here. We see some links coming out here, totally neutralizing that probe, no problem. Cybernetics core coming down, so Protoss isn't overreacting to this quick spawning pool like I thought he might. Showing a real savvy veteran resolve here. He is, however, going to throw down a second gateway. He just made sure to throw down a cybernetics core first. Really wants to get out a stalker, complete his wall in up here. He's got a zealot, which will be holding position. And Syff right now, not 100% sure what he's doing here. He's throwing down a roach warren, so he might be going for a roach rush and not a ling rush. It's interesting. Day 9 recently actually has had a lot of videos about taking only one gas in the beginning of the game and not really taking your second gas until much later, and it's really good advice for a lot of newer players. Focus heavily on your minerals. You don't need that much gas in the beginning unless you're going to do some tricky units. If you're going heavy with lings or anything like that, that gas is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. One extractor is plenty to power roaches. It's plenty. If you get 2, you're making a mistake. You're investing too much in gas for no reason. So, looks like this drone has been discovered here. He's going to run away, be killed by the stalker probably. No. Oh well. And we see now a quick expansion here by Syff. So Syff's build order is really peculiar. I can't tell if he's trying to focus on units or economy or what's going on here. Harvester count is decidedly in Protoss's favor though. So the economic edge definitely going to our Protoss player. And the army edge maybe slightly in the favor of our Zerg player. 16 lings versus 3 zealots and 1 stalker. But chances are that the battle would be waged right here on this ramp, which gives these forces the definite advantage. Here we see an observer coming out by Protoss. And we see a Ling probably going to charge up this ramp here, see what he can see. So he's going to see all this right here. He's going to see what defenses his opponent has. And the Cybernetics Core just now finishing that warp gate technology. So we should be seeing these gateways transition into warp gates here soon. Observer now is going to spot the second hatchery. And Syff now teching up to a lair, so he gets his first expansion and then makes his main into a lair. Solid plan there. I'm wondering if when he gets the lair, if he's going to go for roach speed. You know, he's got no roaches at all, which is really peculiar. Is he producing them? Yeah, he is at least producing a few roaches now, but why throw down that roach warren so early and use up all those minerals if you're not going to produce them? So Syff's uncertain build order here really putting this game in Protoss's favor right now. Syff trying to get this expansion going up here. Meanwhile, Protoss seems very comfortable to just sit back and macro up his forces. He was pumping out immortals, which are really strong against these tier 1 units here. You know, roaches are only so good against immortals, and then when you add stalkers and zealots to that mix, they're going to be outclassed. So we see overlords here by Syff spreading this creep around. Really solid idea when your queen doesn't have the energy to be throwing down creep timbers. He's doing a good job of injecting here, which is very important. And so far this natural here is not doing anything for him. He doesn't have any workers on it, and his harvester count is way below Protoss's still. I mean, I still keep coming back to that. His economy just is way behind, and there's just, I mean, how's he going to recover from this right now if Protoss were to make a push? Imagine if Protoss pushed with all these units right here. Not this probe, but all these other units. There's just no way that a couple of roaches and these lings are going to be able to fend that off. No way. Finally, we do see one drone coming down here. But, you know, the second extractor here isn't even saturated yet. And right now, he's sitting on a lot of minerals for some reason. And he's not even producing any more drones here. So this natural is just a big waste of minerals at this point. He's not doing anything with it. He's got no economic advantage. And we see a Colossus coming out. Protoss there Psy-locked himself for a second. So got an overseer in here. Came in, checked things out, managed to get out alive. So got that important scout in. And, you know, at this point, Syff is just really far behind. And especially with a Colossus coming out, he's got no answer to that. Absolutely no answer whatsoever to a Colossus right now. Not to mention these 2 immortals, tons of gateway units. See this warp gate being chrono boosted, trying to just macro up as big of an army as possible. Right now it's 74 versus 52 in army size. So Protoss has a definitive army and economic advantage. Although finally Syff is starting to catch up a little bit in economy, starting to make a little bit more use of the drones that he's got at his natural. But, you know, both players, we haven't seen a lot of aggression here. We could be seeing Protoss move out. He's collecting all his units. Of course, his observer right here tells him if he moves out right now that he should have no problem with this force. The sling's coming up here to do a little scouting. Not gonna see anything from that position though. He really needs to run it in and gain some information here. So, just a regular pylon being made there. We see mutas coming into play for our Zerg player, but it's too little too late. If Protoss pushes out right now, it's going to be GG. And I think Syff finally realized that his opponent has macroed up a superior army at this point. And Protoss now pushing out for an expansion as well. So, oh no, Syff making a huge mistake pushing out right now. This is by far the superior army right here. 84 to 68, and we got a Colossi right here that's just gonna rape these Zerglings on the ground and that Roach, if it actually does something. A little bit of mismicro there by Protoss, but I mean, just cutting through the Zerg force is no problem. Not enough mutas here against all these stalkers and sentries. So Syff definitely looking like he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. He's only got a couple of mutas right here, and that's really all he's got, and the queens. So Protoss is going to push in right now, and led by his Colossus, his army is definitely formidable here. So this natural is without a doubt going to fall. Syff here going to try and pick off that Colossi, being warded away by all these stalkers and sentries though. Zealots just cutting through drones. He's even got a probe in here, Protoss does. Some baller probe just fucking chilling. And he force fields the ramp, make sure no more reinforcements can come through. Anytime now we should be seeing a GG, and I'm not sure what Syff's hoping to accomplish with these mutas at this point. I mean, he's just trying to hold them off, I guess, as long as possible. See if he can macro up something to stop this army, but there's just no way off one base. He doesn't even have an extra hatchery. No way he's going to accomplish it with this small force. So Protoss just putting the nail on the coffin here. He's going to finish off this one last little force probably, and then we'll see a GG. 12 more Lings in production, but it's not going to do anything. This game's over. So guys, thanks for watching the Amateur StarCraft League, and I'm your host as always. There's the GG, the Reaper. So Protoss beating his first opponent, winning round 1 against Syff. Syff did take one game, however, and you know, considering the skill level that Protoss has shown so far, you know, even just taking that second game is shows a lot of skill by Syff, and you know, I was happy to see him in our tournament. I thought he did a really good job. So again, if you guys have any good replays that you want to send to me, or even if it's just a short replay where you felt like you're not 100% sure what you could have done to stop something, send me the replay and I'll cast it and walk you through it. You know, and because I'm sure that you're not the only person who's ever made whatever mistake it is that you made. So always feel free to send me those kind of replays as well. And that is it for today. So thanks for listening, guys, and watching, and everything else that you do with your senses. Thanks for smelling my game. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time.